Did you hear what's going on in the San Francisco Unified School District, the public school district in the city of San Francisco? It blew up this week, and there has been some news on it. So I'll set it up with the subject, basically what it is, and then there has been progress. But first of all, it's called Grading for Equity, Roseanne. And what they do is, you can see this, but basically they are dropping all standards to make sure everybody feels good. It's called Grading for Equity. So basically, if you get a B, that is now an A. An A can equal 80%. For a C, it's now basically you're taking an F and making it a C. You can get as low as a 41% on a test and still get a C. Again, to make everybody feel better. That's for finals. Your tests, they don't even grade the tests anymore. When it comes finals time, you can retake them as long as you want. And it doesn't matter if you're not there. Like, you don't even have to attend because, people of certain races and backgrounds don't realize, apparently, the importance of actually attending. So we are lowering the standards in every aspect. I will clarify, the reporter in me, this blew up this week. It blew up to the point that the new superintendent, Maria Sue, she came out and said, okay, hold on, fine, we'll wait on this, because they were going to test it and then implement it in the fall. So that's the good news for me, despite this insane attempt at a policy. The good news is that a lot of people spoke up. Yes, they got crushed on social media, but even some Democrat politicians in the crazy state of California came and said, this is going a little bit too far. So the lesson I take from it is, everybody out there, when you don't like what's going on in your school district or in your town or in any way, you have to speak up.
That's right.
Like, you got to have big mouths like us. There's no more excuses for living in fear, because now they've actually scaled this back and put these attempted changes on hold, right? So don't we have to keep being loudmouth?
Yes, we do. And that is our duty as Americans, to take back our government, because this is our government. This is the government we send our children to fight and die for. It's ours. It's not a bunch of, elites, people that sneer down at us and think, oh, well, we're going to, we want to keep you ignorant so we can farm your organs and send them to Bill Gates to sell to McDonald's for his hamburger meat. I mean, it's just so corrupt and so evil. And it's up to the people to take our government back. So I'm happy to hear it. People have a lot of time on their hands to do a lot of stupid things, but they neglect their duty as citizens of this country, which is a representative government, to do their duty for the next generation. And I think they might be waking up to that fact. After, we got Trump in there and everybody said it was impossible, but we did it. And we just have to do it at the local level, because the local level is universal. And that's where it has to start and end. So I'm happy to hear that. That's great to see that, people have woke up. I hate to use the word woke, but to the fact that they're going to push it as far as they can, because they think our silence is consent.
Yes, that's it. That's absolutely what it is. They think the silence is consent. And if you're silent, you're just going to allow them to keep moving the bar further and further. But what a perfect example of the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? Like, let's go on the assumption that the people doing this have good intentions.
They don't know.
So I can make that argument too. But if I'm just some brain broken, really far left progressive San Francisco public education person, let's try it, right? So if their intentions are good, you really can see why the road to hell is paved with them, because not only you're punishing everybody here, you're punishing the kid who, by giving him higher grades than he deserves, he's now not going to be qualified for things as he goes on the adventure of life. He won't know math as he tries to get this. And then you'll also get him a job easier, or you let him into college easier, or anything else. And next thing you know, we have planes falling out of the sky. That's literally that
isn't what happens. I think what happens is that kid that's, they're destroying that kid's life. That's what they're doing at the elemental level. And then what happens is that kid gets the big smackdown He doesn't go on to become a pilot. I mean, that's just a chosen few. But that kid gets the big smackdown the first time he goes out of the bubble. He gets a beat down, and then he just gives up and gets on drugs and ends up in, prison or in trouble, because it's like, wow, everything was a lie. I was protected, I was lied to, and it was all a setup. And it is a setup, and none of their intentions are good. I was loving that they were saying they were going to abolish the Board of Education, because that's nothing but a bunch of activists.
Yeah.
They hear nothing about, they give up their authority to educate these kids because they don't give a damn about those kids. They don't even think those kids are human. They're racist to the core because the communists are racist. They don't give a damn about any children or any citizens. They only care about power for themselves. And that's what's disgusting.
Linda McMahon, who took over the Department of Ed, who's a billionaire, she was married to, or is married to Vince McMahon, who created at the time it was the WWF, now WE, or it was his dad that created it. But, I loved her line when she got the job. She's like, I took this job to put myself out of work, meaning I'm going to blow up this thing and then go back to my other job. But you're totally right, Roseanne. You're right. Some will skate through, right? So you're going to get some that will get the easier grade, the easier admission, the easier job, et cetera, et cetera. But you're right, actually. The bigger issue is that more kids will then be cheated out of the things in life. And there are studies on this where some of these kids get into colleges that they shouldn't get into. And then they're around all of these really bright kids. And then they're frustrated, they're anxiety ridden, they're angry, and the rest of it. And then the other part, real quick, is that you're punishing people on both sides. So you're punishing people on the bottom by artificially elevating them, but then you're punishing the kid on the top who busts his ass, works hard.
Exactly.
And now you're saying, okay.
The goal is to destroy genius. That's their ultimate goal. So, so many of these kids are brilliant. I mean, they have to make another way besides the regular economy. So they have to have an underground economy, and they end up millionaires and billionaires too, because they're that brilliant. But if they were educated properly and came into the larger economy, which that's what America's about. And so they want to destroy that too, so they can isolate everybody, and none of the people can coalesce and question the government itself. We have no power because we can't unite, because we're being farmed to fight amongst ourselves and keep them in power, because divide and conquer, that's what they like. And anyway, the whole education system has nothing to do with the children. It's about the teachers' unions, and they just hire pedos and perverts that want to stick their wieners in everyone's face and talk about their genitals 24/7. It's gotta go. It has nothing to do with the kids. They write off entire generations of Black kids. They don't give a damn. And the Black people who speak for that are paid. They're paid well to deny and turn in their own, just like the Jewish people in America are paid well to deny and turn in their own. That's how they got it all sewed up. The only way for a minority to rise in America is turning in your own. It's that despicably fixed.
And that is why, Roseanne and I was so thrilled. And I got to sit down a month or two ago with Linda McMahon for a few minutes and talk about it, because, of course, she gets crushed and they're throwing away. They don't care about kids, dismantling the Department of Education. This is the exact reason why. And to not teach CRT and to not teach, having sexualized books in the schools. To wrap up that, I'll say this as well. I agree. Spread the wealth. Let's make everybody equal. Bring down the standards, like affirmative action, maybe well-intended at first, but what happened from that was devastating. And the COVID. Guys, San Francisco's district, like many others in major cities, was shut down for a year and a half. These kids are already behind because of those insane policies from before.
Right.
And now it continues.
Right.
So
you take them
pray for San Francisco.